My friend, today is a treat. Welcome to yet another episode of the Uncommon Market Disruptor podcast, where we take you the best kept secret and help you disrupt the marketplace and help you be seen, be visible by exactly the right people that you're called to serve and nobody else. With me today is a very, very, very special guest. This is serving you. Consider subscribing. And if this episode particularly speaks to you, think to yourself, who do I know that would need to hear this? And the only ask I'm saying is just get this, share it with one person. That will bless the show. That will continue to spread the message one person at a time. And I can almost guarantee that it takes the two of us to take this show to the people that need to hear the message that is shared on this show. Without further ado, I want to tell you about my guest. My guest today is a very special guest. And when you hear her work, you will begin to wonder if you're playing out, full out, or if you're dimming your own light. She's the type of guest who's going to challenge you to look inside, pull out your brilliance, and take it to the world. She's the kind of person who's going to challenge you to start thinking about your absolute best and nothing. She's a person who is into self-mastery, and she is everything but living your best life, getting into that destiny that you didn't even know was still available for you. And so I want to pull up my guest today and try and tell you a little bit more about her, as I also allow her to give you, like, where did she start? Like, how did we get here? How did she start? How did she tap into this place that is unreachable for some people?
Thank you so much for having me. I love your intro. I love your passion when you speak about being a disruptor. It's really infectious.
I like people who are rare. I like people who are just doing like life-changing work. I like people who are not so loud about their brands. I like those people who know their worth and they're not afraid to eat alone. When you know what you bring to the table, you're not afraid to eat alone. So I like this kind of people. They're my people. Sometimes I like to call them the best kept secrets, because if they could only talk 10 times louder, the world would be in shock. Anyhow, my friend, meet Lainne. And Lainne Love is a best-selling author and the master of self. Like, if you're wanting to get the best version of who you are, when we were born with like maximum capacity. And then you began to walk and you fell, and someone told you need to start walking slowly. And then you began to run and try things, and your mom told you to slow down. And then you went to school, and the teacher told you to shut up. And then you got heartbroken, and someone told you to be careful. And then things started happening, and you started getting these old patterns, old ways of doing things. You started to think about roadblocks and what is possible and what is not. And over time, you've slowly dimmed down your light. Over time, you've gotten in your own way. Over time, you feel like you're stagnated. Over time, you feel like your potential is over there and you're just over here. Over time, you've slipped into mediocrity. And today, we're going to challenge that and hopefully challenge you to go and claim what you know you're made for, which is you're made for more than you are currently tapping in right now. Yeah. And how did we get here? Like, how did we get to this place where we're changing lives, literally?
Gosh, I was just sort of hypnotized by your voice. I totally picture you on stage speaking. It's really, really powerful what it is that you're saying and how you say it. But how did we get here? How did we get to what it is that you were just speaking of? Well, like many different factors, and we don't talk about that enough. So I love talking about it because it's really important to bring it to your awareness so that you can think about how it is that you're going to be overcoming these things, because you came here to overcome some things. You came here to challenge things. You were born into the particular family you were born in because you came here to be the one that says, no more. This ancestral trauma, this thing that keeps being passed down within my lineage, generation after generation, it's time to heal that now. It's time to heal that now. No, thank you. Let's rewrite the script. let's change the story. So you've come in with that purpose. Absolutely. So that's one of the factors. So if, you've had something passed down for 20 generations, well, imagine the momentum of that, the weight of that. When you're going to stand in the weight of that momentum and say, no, this stops here with me, it's going to feel like a powerful force, right? Crashing into you. And yet you're more powerful than that. You can overcome that. You can say, no, thank you. You have that within you. So that's one of the factors. Another factor is where you were born. Like, what country, what religion, what circumstances. Those are also things that you're going to be meeting, and if you so choose to, overcoming. So if you were told you can't do this because of where you're from, you can't do this because of your particular religion, and if you feel differently about that, and you know that there's something that you want and it's more, and you know that actually this doesn't align with me and I'm reaching for something better, then you're here to change that. Okay, great. So how do I do that? I know that all these things, okay, I'm here to change these things. How do I do that? Well, that starts with you, with the power of you, and knowing what you're made of and knowing what you're capable of, which is so much more than we're taught. And the best way to start is that I have found anyway, through all of the things that I have studied and all of the clients that I've served, the best way to start is shifting your subconscious programming. Why? Because that is the storage place. That's the place within you that's running the show. So all that ancestral stuff, it's stored in your subconscious. All that societal stuff, that's stored in your subconscious. And regardless of what you try to do, that keeps overriding, overtaking, and running the show. I mean, we all know when we've said we've had an instance in our life that we said, I want this. So I am going to get up early tomorrow because I want to go for a walk, move my body, do all these things. It's really important to me. I choose to do that. I'm doing it. You set the alarm goes off, and you say, nope, I don't feel like it. I'm too tired. I'm not going to do it. I'll do it tomorrow. That really is your subconscious programming. It's kicking in. It's doing override. It's like, no, this isn't the program. The program is this. The program is you're going to stay in bed. The program is self-care. The program is do whatever feels good. And this is what feels good. This is what we're used to. So the most powerful thing that you can start with is shifting that subconscious program to give you the commands to do what it is that you want to do. So that goes with your ancestral healing. That goes with your circumstances, your society, your country, all of that programming. You can rewrite it so that it can empower you to be and do the things that you want to do in this life. Now, does that mean that once you do that yay, everything is so easy and there's all these green lights and the birds are singing and the butterflies are flying? Yeah and no. There are still going to be challenges. But it's going to be a lot easier. When the alarm goes off, and you might say to yourself, oh, I don't feel like it, but I'm going to get up. So there's that difference. I don't feel like doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the thing that kept coming in to stop you is no longer going to be there. And if it still is there, it's not going to be as powerful as the voice that says, no, I'm going to do it. So that's a great place to start.
I really like how you got us moving, like beginning to even think like, where am I? And am I really doing things I want to do, or am I having something running on the autopilot? But if someone was having like subconscious patterns and they didn't even know they had them,
Yeah.
where should they look? Or what are those signs that, something else is running the show here? It's not me entirely. I think I have some other patterns running my show, how do I know that I'm, running my life on autopilot?
I love that question because that was my thing. I did not know. I did not know that I didn't know what I didn't know. So that's why it took me so long. It took me about 20 years to get to where I am right now. And it doesn't have to take you that long. It really doesn't. But if it did take you that long or longer, it's okay. It's okay. But it doesn't have to take that long. So whatever scenario is yours, it's just perfect. It's perfect for you and your journey. So yeah, so what do you do? Because it's so frustrating, is you start to look at those feelings, that feeling of like frustration. For me, I was overwhelmed with anger and frustration. I knew I wanted this and it was never happening. And it seemed like no matter what I did, it was never happening. So a good place for you to start, if you want to know what your programs are, is look at like when and how and where are you feeling big feelings of frustration, anger, and look at the things that maybe you want. And sometimes you can't even know what it is that you want. I recognize that even starting with what you want may be sometimes hard because what we want is also defined by our current boundaries, our current subconscious programming. Like, say, what I really want is a yacht, $100 million yacht, and I want to live off the coast of France. That's what I really, really want. But that's not even like accessible to my mind. I don't even know that that exists yet. So I say what I want is a little 2-bedroom house with a flower garden. Because where I'm from and what's accessible to me, like that's already a lot. And so like that's enough. That's enough. I can want that. It's a little outside my boundaries, but it's possible. It's realistic. Uh, that's not actually what you want. That's part of your programming. So sometimes, again, we don't know exactly what it is that we want. So start to look at your feelings. Find feelings are the best way to start. That's what works for me. Where do you find yourself feeling frustrated or angry or sad or hopeless, whatever your predominant emotions are? And maybe you don't even know, but again, you have to start somewhere. You have to pick something because most of us are completely unaware of many, many different things and aspects in our lives because we haven't been paying attention. We haven't been taught to. Um, our culture, our society has certain ways of navigating, and most of those ways are navigating being numb or distracting yourself. And so we have to start at one point. So the easiest place I think to start is really looking at your emotions. So how do I feel right now? Well, I feel hopeless. I feel like I'm never gonna have the ability to get what it is that I want. I feel sorry for myself. I don't come from a place where it's easy. There isn't anybody like me. I don't have these resources. I don't have any help. Okay, those are really those feelings. That inner dialogue is telling you a lot. Great. So listen. Okay, sit with yourself. Sit with those uncomfortable feelings because mostly maybe we feel those feelings and then we infuse them with more energy of cycling the oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to think about more reasons why it's hopeless and more reasons why I should feel sorry for myself and more reasons why I should and be stuck where it is that I am. And I get that. I know that we all come from different circumstances, but like from where I grew up in North America, I didn't come from great circumstances. My mom was a teenage mom who had 4 kids by her mid-20s, and she was on her own since I don't know, she was 12 or 13. So she did not have the tools, skills, talents, or abilities to raise us in a safe, stable home. And so I didn't grow up with really great programming. I didn't grow up feeling loved or protected or thinking that I had even a lot of possibilities. I understand what it is to feel like there is no way out and there's nobody there to support you. I didn't have any family money that helped me to get anywhere. I didn't even have any family to help me with my child, who is a neurodivergent child. So as a single person who didn't come from really any kind of strong background, and with no help, I was working and bringing my child to his appointments and building my business and writing books and meditating and exercising and doing all these things. And all I do in sharing that, the purpose is that what I wanted became stronger than what I didn't want, and feeling sorry for myself as I was feeling sorry for myself. Like, what? Like, even in being a parent, like, God, why couldn't I at least even have like an easy kid? Why, on top of all of these things that I felt I was feeling sorry for myself for, why can't I have at least something that's easy in my life? One thing. And yeah, I'm grateful now because my son actually taught me a lot about myself. And that's probably a different story because I can go off on a whole other tangent there. But the point and purpose is I did not come from ease and I did not come with a lot of support. I just decided that I was going to do it regardless of how sorry I felt for myself. And I didn't start there. I had to further dig myself out of a hole before I could even get to that point. Um, I changed my response to stress. I used to be a freezer. I used to not be able to do anything. If I got too overwhelmed, I just shut down. But through doing a lot of work on myself, a lot of therapy, a lot of coaching, a lot of meditation, a lot of exercise, all of these amazing tools that we have and that I used not all of them because I'm sure there's hundreds, but I used many. I used at least 50 different things to figure out what was going to work for me, and to keep trying. But I was really hopeless. I was suicidal at one point. I was down in the dumps and I didn't think that I could get back up. And that's where the mastery that I love talking about comes in, is nobody can pick you up off of the floor. You know, I wish somebody could have, because I felt like I needed somebody to. Because I just wanted something in my life to be easy. At least that was my inner dialogue. Maybe compared to some people in the world, things were easy for me, and compared to others, they weren't. But that doesn't even matter. What matters is my experience of what it is that I was living. I just wanted some safety and some stability and something. And what I realized, even in the depths of like real darkness, was I have to do this for myself. I think that's the point in the purpose, is I have to give myself safety. I have to give myself these things. I have to give myself hope. I have to give myself all these things that I don't have. And it was now I got those things for myself and found them within myself through using external tools, like getting help from other people. I had to figure out how to pay them. And believe me, I did not know how I was going to pay them. I didn't really have the resources, but I just decided that that wasn't going to be the thing. That wasn't going to be the reason why I didn't or couldn't. And I started at the place that I could start. And even then, even saying I started at the place I could start, I still couldn't. I still had to figure that out. Because I definitely know what it is to not have any money, to have my clothes fall apart and not be able to buy new clothes, to have my shoes fall apart and not be able to buy new shoes. And I had somebody else buy me a pair of shoes. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to need to overcome abuse, whether that's physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. So I know that we can have these things that can hold us back. It can be the story that we're we're allowing to hold us back. And I'll say that again, it's a story that you are allowing to hold you back. Yeah, it's painful. Yeah, it's hard to recover from. And some people, and it sucks sometimes when you compare yourself to others that you're like, why did I start at minus 500? And this person started at plus 1,000. Like, that doesn't seem fair. Like, you could focus on that, sure, but we don't know. Again, like, what was that person's karma? What was their past life? What's their family lineage? What's the purpose? Like, why did they come here? Remember that your life is bigger than just this moment, just this lifetime. That you're coming in with all of this history, with all of these missions, with all of this purpose. And when you can pull back and think about your life from that perspective, wow, like this is so much bigger than like right now in this moment. What was my mission? What did I come here to heal? What am I clearing? What am I evolving past? How am I expanding in my experience as a soul? So there's a lot of different factors here. But the point is that you can do it. And the point is, it's not the sexy or easy answer. It's not at all, is that you do have to find it within yourself. And sometimes finding it within yourself, often actually, times finding it within yourself means getting help. And so get the help, get whatever it is that you can get. And how amazing that we live in a time right now where we can do something like tune into a fantastic podcast like this. Or if you say, well, I don't have any resources, you do. You have podcasts. You have perhaps you have libraries where you live in the country that you live in, and maybe not, but you can have access to books, can have access to other people's wisdom. Those are places to start. So
I love your answer. I'm just wondering, you keep saying, I've read a bit of your work, and you keep
yeah,
saying you're already amazing. You have
yeah,
brilliance, but you need
yeah,
someone to help you get out of your own way.
yeah.
And there is someone right now listening to us and going, you two have no idea where I've been. You have no idea about my divorce. You have no idea about my cancer. There is someone right now who is at rock bottom, and they're like, brilliance. Like, what is that? Like, I'm amazing. Like, there's people who have gone through life and they've been beaten up, and they're like, I
Mhm.
don't even know who I am. I don't know
Yeah.
my second name right now. And I do want you to kind of take a minute to speak into their life. If I was at rock bottom, life had happened to me, and I was like, let me listen to this podcast. Maybe there is something for me.
Mhm.
What would you tell that person in a minute or two or three? Like, how could you feed into their soul right now, knowing how powerful it is for people to tap into their own brilliance, how life-changing it is to really draw, create, design your destiny. But what would you tell someone right now who's not empowered and even doesn't have the belief anymore that those things are true for them?
It's a hard thing. Like I said, having been there, I was angry at the people telling me that it could be different or that it was easy or that God was here for me. I was really angry at God and angels and guides and all of these beautiful, wonderful helpers that are here. I'm like, I am praying and I do not. Where is the help? Where are you? Where is the help? I was definitely really bitter and angry and hopeless. And so, first of all, what I say is, I see you. I witness you and I acknowledge you. You know, when you're in that space, people definitely want to help lift you up. And I think a lot of times I just really needed somebody to say, I see you. I know it's hard. Life is hard. Nobody said life is easy. Life is hard. And you have had some shit things happen to you. And it doesn't really seem fair because it doesn't sometimes, because it is hard to understand all the nuances of what it means to be living in this life. And just to sit with that, just sit with that, sit with feeling accepted and seen and acknowledged and witnessed, because being witnessed is a major part of the healing process. A lot of times we're just keep knocking on the door because we feel like nobody sees us. And so just being the witness is really, really powerful. So I see you. And the beautiful part and the hard part is that no matter what I say or do, you're the only one that can lift you up and out of that place. I can be here and I can listen and I can give you tools, but I can't make you use them. That has to come from within you. And that's similar to every human being on the planet. You know, we all share similar experiences. We're all born and we're all going to die. And we all have to live our lives from our own will. Nobody can make us do anything. Believe me, I cannot make my son clean his room, no matter what. We can't make each other do anything. We can inspire others into action. We can lead by example. And we can let people know that there is hope and that perhaps we can have shared some similar experiences, and you can witness one person overcoming that circumstance and have the fire of hope and possibility reignited within you. And that's where it comes to the importance of like listening and reaching out to others. I know when I couldn't reach out to others, what I could do, and this was again like 20 years ago, there wasn't podcasts, but there was Hay House Radio. And I would listen to Hay House Radio for like 8 hours a day sometimes, just because that's what I could do. That was what was in my budget. That's what was possible for me. And so I just surrounded myself with people and with stories of hope and possibility. And until I could see that spark within myself, I wanted that. I wanted it. I didn't have it within myself yet, but I knew I wanted it. And so what I could do was surround myself with that energy, with those words, and with those stories of possibility. And after some time, I don't know if it was weeks or months, to be honest, at this point, I was able to find those aspects within myself. But make no mistake that just having the willingness and making the choice of, if all you can do is just listen, that's really amazing. That's really powerful. That's you digging within yourself and finding that mastery and practicing it, and digging into your inner well and finding your strength. It doesn't have to be, these big mighty things. It can be small mighty things, and those things really make the difference.
And I probably want to add that your feelings are valid. You're disappointed, you're frustrated, and that's okay. You're in pain, and that's okay. But the decision to stay there is up to you. Totally up to you. There's resources, there's podcasts, there's books, there's help. And it's gotta take you to get up and get the help.
Yeah.
But we see you. You're valid, you have valid emotions, you have valid reasons. The world is not fair. But just like myself, even though I haven't shared my story with you, just like Lainne, the decision to stay down there is really up to you. No one can drag you out of bed and save you. Like, you gotta take the courage to one day wake up and do something about it. My next question is, like, if I was thinking, so there's this self-mastery thing, Lainne. Okay, what's my first step? If I was thinking, okay, if these ladies are saying there is something beyond my current situation and I can wake up and change my life, what should I start doing today or tomorrow to really take a step in that direction of there's more, I'm built for more, and I want it. I want to get it. What's the first step or something like that?
First step is, well, you've already taken it, so celebrate. Your first step is showing up even here and listening. That's an action step. That's you making a choice and leaning into mastery. You want something and you're seeking information and you're listening to others. So First step is noticing. I always notice a name. That's what I do with my clients is notice. Notice everything in your life because you've pretty much turned on blinders to everything in your life. At least that's my experience of myself and definitely of my clients. Notice. Notice your thoughts. Write them down. Wow, I tend to think over and over again, and I never even noticed because it was just automatic and I just tuned out about this thing like 100 times a day. Oh my God. I keep telling myself, you know, oh, that's never going to happen. It's not for me. Good things don't happen for me. Whatever that is, whatever your inner dialogue is, notice it. Start to pay attention. That's a great first step. It's really, really empowering. And it sounds like it's easy, but it's not because you'll just go back into automatic mode and you'll be like, oh, I forgot to think about it. And then think about it. So how you can help yourself with that is just like set an alarm on your phone if you have one. And like every hour check in. Okay, what am I thinking about? Just write it down. You don't even have to do anything besides that, just to start. Just that. And maybe at the end of the day, start to look at your list. Wow, I was thinking all of these really crappy things all day. That's what's going on in my inner dialogue. Wow. Or maybe you'll surprise yourself and think, wow, I was thinking all these really amazing things, but I keep tuning it out because I think, oh, that's not possible for me, or I have to be realistic, or whatever that inner dialogue is again. So you're just getting to know yourself by noticing and naming. So notice your thoughts. And then if you want to take it one step further, then start to notice your feelings. Okay, as I notice my thoughts, I'm thinking this thing over and over again about, how that's never going to happen for me, how it's for other people. Oh, how does that feel? I don't know. Let me sit with it. Oh, God, it feels crappy. I have a really heavy feeling in my chest, and I feel like my throat's closing up a little bit when I think those thoughts. Okay, write that down. Okay, I feel crappy. I have heaviness in my chest. My throat's closing up. Great. You're starting to notice yourself more. Notice how you're actually feeling all of the time, but you're tuning out with being busy or watching stuff or scrolling or whatever. But this is how you're actually feeling. So if this is how you're actually feeling, this is what is steering your car, driving your ship. This is what's actually doing it. So you're starting to pay attention to what's actually guiding your day here. Okay, so I've done that. I've noticed my inner dialogue. I've written it down. Now I'm aware of what I'm thinking. And now I have noticed my feelings and how my body is feeling. Great. Next step is to let it go. How do I do that? It's quite simple, actually. It just it doesn't feel easy because it feels uncomfortable, and we've been practicing avoiding it for most of our lives. So you just go back into that, go back into the thoughts that you're thinking. Notice how you're feeling. Great. I feel crappy. What's behind crappy? Because crappy is sort of like an overall general term. Okay, well, I feel sad. I feel sad that I'm never going to get to live the life that I wanted to live. Never going to get to experience those things. Okay, well, sit with your sadness. It's just feedback. You're a human being. You were designed, literally designed to feel these feelings and process them. So you don't have to be afraid of it. You're not going to like melt down. You're not going to freeze. Your body was designed to feel these feelings. It's safe to feel these feelings. You can even tell yourself that. Okay, I feel sad. And I've been totally avoiding feeling this feeling because I'm scared of feeling it because it feels uncomfortable. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to cry. I'm afraid to let myself go into this sadness. What's going to be on the other side of it? Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself about what it is that you're feeling. Okay, well, I'm a human. I was literally designed to feel these feelings. So I'm just going to feel it and let yourself feel it. But hi, sadness. Hi, sadness. Why am I saying hi to sadness? Why not? It's here. It showed up for you. I mean, we think we're like separate from our emotions. No, you're not. Sadness has showed up for you because it's here with a message for you. Emotions are feedback. They're just letting you know how something is affecting you. Great, because there could be 10 people in a room and we all have a different emotion about it because we're all having a different experience. Great. What's this particular feedback for me? Sadness. Thank you, sadness. Thank you for showing up and letting me know how I feel about this thing. I'm going to feel you. And let yourself know it's safe to feel you. It's safe to feel sadness. Safe to feel sadness. And just let yourself feel it and let it wash over you. And then guess what happens? When you tune into that thought that you've been thinking 100,000 times a day, and you tune into how your body feels, it's gone. It's gone. So guess what happens to that thought? Maybe there are 50 other emotions that are anchored in with it that you get to feel and clear. But all of a sudden you're going to feel lighter. And all of a sudden it's going to be just that much easier to be able to access a different thought because you are freeing yourself of the weight and the anchor that you've anchored into yourself by storing all of those emotions that are associated with that thought. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And then the thought, it becomes easy to let go. And then you can change the thought to, actually, it's really easy for me. It's really easy for me. And what are the thoughts and feelings associated with that? Guess what? They feel way better. They feel like joy. They feel like possibility. They feel like energy. So these are the things that we can do and that is simple. Like that was a really simple process, wasn't it? Could you do that? Absolutely.
It's powerful. Sounds
Yeah.
simple, but for the person listening at rock bottom, it's work and it's
Yeah. So at rock bottom, you sit with that anger. Well, for me, it was anger. Maybe for you, it's something else, but it was a lot of anger. I felt like I would froth at the mouth. I could feel the foam surfacing. I was so angry. It is not fair. Why me? No, this is not okay. You've abandoned me. Life sucks. I don't want to be here. Great. Sit with that. Sit with that. Sit with that anger. What's on the other side of that anger? I bet you it's pain. I bet you it's hurt. I bet you it's not even anger. Anger is there to show up because anger is a really powerful energy that helps you to move. Thank you, anger. Without the anger, I would have been really stuck. So let yourself feel those feelings, even in the depths of it, even in the depths of despair. Let yourself feel the feeling and let it go. And notice that maybe you don't feel like you have so many weights keeping you down.
This is really beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to kind of pivot into the rapid fire type of question. My first question is more like, what is the one thing that you think would change someone's life if I asked each that I haven't yet asked?
The one thing that can change your life. I think it's a hard one because it depends on which stage you're in, like which stage you're in and being able to accept in the answer. What the hell answer is that? Blah. But it really is to love and honor yourself.
I love the answer.
Why? Yeah. And it's not just, I think the honor yourself part is really important too. Love yourself, and loving yourself means all of the things that we just talked about, is being present with yourself, noticing what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, looking at it, doing the work, knowing what it is that you want so that you know where it is that you're going to go or where you want to go. All of those things are acts of loving and honoring yourself.
To the person that follows this podcast, and that's the best kept secret. They have amazing work, could be changing lives, but for some reason they're playing small. They've kept small. Not
Mhm.
enough people know them, or no one knows them, or they just know that the best kept secret out there.
Mhm.
And a part of it may be they are trying to dim down their light, or they just failing to like get out of that shell and go, why not me to become, like a bestseller or top one podcast or the next disruptive thing? Like, why not? And I wanted to talk to that because I know you talk through inner brilliance and how you can dim that light down and how you could be going through trauma feelings and not even know. And I want to talk this person because I find when I work with people like this, sometimes they are building a business on autopilot. Like
Mhm.
when I started, I think I built a business, a money making business. And I made money, made money, made money, made money, made money, made my clients money. And then at one point, I was like, money made 20K, 100K. So what? Like, I was like, so what? I feel this work is dimming my light. I feel like I was not put here on this planet to just make people money. I feel like there's more meaning and a more calling, a deeper calling to my name that goes besides I made 10K in one day. You get. And so I personally had to step down and go like, what do I really want my legacy business to be? And I feel like you understand this kind of situation. I don't know if you would love to talk through some of that, because personally I did run a business on autopilot for a long time. And then I woke up one day and I was like, well, if I die tomorrow, like, is this what I want to be remembered for? Made people money. So what? It wasn't lighting me up. It wasn't lighting clients up. People were making money and then they would go spoil all of it. And then they would just wake up and quit. And I was like, no, it's not my legacy. Like, I don't want that. So I wanted to speak into a person like that who is like a best kept secret or running a business on autopilot or successfully, what do they call it? Deceptive success. I have some money coming in, but really, like, my heart is not there. This is not even my soul work or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of different questions and a couple of different things in there. First,
Mm.
let's unpack money. Because money is what's wrong with running a business and making lots of money and making people lots of money. Like money and spirituality or heart fulfillment aren't separate, and they don't have to be, and they never should be. Money is a beautiful tool that enables you to do whatever it is that you want to do in the world, and actually gives you greater power to do good in the world because you have more resources and more possibilities, and for which it is that you could help. So making money is a beautiful, wonderful, amazing thing. Go out there and make the money. So let's take money out of the equation. Now, if whatever it is that you're doing just isn't bringing you joy or fulfilling you, whether you're making no money or lots of money, that's a different question. But let's really like hammer in money is a great, amazing tool. It is here to be of service. It's here to help us to do things. It's here to help us actualize things. Love money, have a great relationship with money. Don't be afraid of money. Don't put money on a pedestal. Money is your partner in crime. Money is here for you to work with you. So, whether or not the work you're doing is fulfilling, that has actually little to do with money. So, looking at what do I want to do and what do I want to contribute, that's another question. Because really, the ideal for most people is what would I do even for free?
Mm.
That's the right work. And we can't really just do things for free because we need to have a place to live and food to eat, and money is the agreed exchange that we have used that says, okay, for this food, I will give you this money. Okay, so money is practical. We need it, and it's okay if you want to live in a 10-bedroom house alone because that's your dream, because there's more than enough abundance, there's more than enough resources, there's more than enough money that you can live your dream and feel at peace with that. And that doesn't mean that you're taking away from anybody else. Yes, there are a lot of people that need a lot of things. And again, that's a whole other conversation as to like the level of consciousness and how it is that we could come in and give tools of empowerment so that they can build themselves up. helping people to do that. I think that's like the root of of this whole conversation is there tools and possibilities, but at the end of the day, that has to be built from your inside out in order for it to be successful. It doesn't mean that we don't get help along the way or support or inspiration or leadership, but for the most part, it has to come from within. So how do you get yourself to be seen and known? It takes a lot of work. That's not the sexy popular answer either. It does take work and it takes alignment. I know you've probably heard that a lot recently, alignment and frequency, and how you align yourself is with the tools that I just used in terms of your business. If you want to be seen and known, then you would look at that. Well, what's my internal dialogue around that? Oh, it's hard. You have to have network. You have to know somebody. That's how I'm going to be seen. Okay, so that's my belief because I've checked in with, well, what am I thinking about that? Okay, well, how do I feel about that? I feel frustrated and angry because I don't know those people and it's easy for those people and it's not easy for me because I don't have the same things that they had, and that's the story that you're telling yourself around that. So then you get to do the work of releasing that, and then also looking at your subconscious programming. So if that's your internal dialogue, then that's going to be your subconscious programming. So you got to work on whatever your programming is around success and visibility and all of those things that you feel are in the way between you and visibility. So if it is, oh God, I'm so afraid to be seen. I'm so afraid. What are people going to say? What are people going to do? Great. Awesome. You have just pointed out the next thing that's come up for you to work on and clear and upgrade so that you can get to the next level. That's all that our challenges are. It's just, this is the next thing for you to work on so that you can get to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. So if you can just shift to thinking about feedback and challenges that way, that's going to help to expedite you getting from point A to point B.
Today is your last day on the planet. Your bestseller is burnt down, all the copies. Everything you've created, your website is down. Everything you've created, the materials, the coaching sessions, everything is gone. Gone. We will never see it. We'll never access it. We will never even know it existed. And you have a minute. And whatever you say is what we will remember about you forever. That minute, after that minute, you'll be gone. We'll never see you again. But we will have that, whatever you told us in that minute, to remember you for the next 100 and next generations. What would you tell the world in that minute, and as far as creating a life of your destiny is concerned?
I don't care about being remembered. As you say that, it's not important. What's important in that last minute, I would want to just be with the people that I love. And my last words to them would be, I love you.
Nice. That's a surprising answer. You would tell the people that you love them. Great. What would you think would be the question I should rightfully ask the next speaker?
The question you should ask the next speaker: how do they overcome the challenges in their lives?
Love it. My next question for you is, what's the hardest part of doing the work you do, and what has been your biggest thing that you feel like this has helped me a lot with whatever challenge I have, being a healer, being a coach, being the person that I am when I do this work?
The hardest part was, it no longer is, was feeling like I'm enough. Like the question I used to ask is like, who am I? Who am I to do this? Well, the answer is I'm just a person. And why not? Why not? It doesn't really matter anymore. I guess that goes back to your first question of like the legacy. it doesn't really matter. It's not about me.
What do you wish you knew before starting out on this walk?
Lying to myself. I wish I had been aware of lying to myself because I did a lot of therapy for many years and I lied to myself and I outsmarted myself. So I knew the stuff logically with my mind. Yeah, I've read the book. I understand what it is you're saying. I understand that this is what happened, but I didn't process it. I didn't feel it. I understood it. That's only one of the faculties in which we use, and that's not going to change anything. Understanding it helps to shift, but it doesn't actually change the deep internal patterns. And I feel like I wasted a lot of time and a lot of money understanding stuff instead of actually doing the deep work, feeling it, reprogramming it, and actually changing it.
What has been the hardest bit of being a coach, a leader, helping others, working with clients? Because people who are listening to us are like coaches, mentors, or they aspire to be. What is the hardest bit of literally being the answer to another person? And what's your hack around that? Working with other people who may not necessarily want to do the work that they need to do to get the thing they want. Basically, like your experience as a coach, and like, gosh, this has been challenging, but whew, maybe we have answers, maybe we don't. We're in the same boat.
Well, that's going to be different for everybody. Like, what's the you find the most challenging? And I love this question because I'm thinking about, gosh, like I don't really find I'm not stuck on anything being hard. Like that's not my internal dialogue. My internal dialogue is, well, just everything is feedback. Like policies and procedures are really big, and then how you change, like who it is that you want to work with and who it is that you don't want to work with. That can be hard as you're developing yourself because you can have an idea of who you want to work with and you start to settle because you think, well, I'm going to settle because I want to have the money. I need the money. So yeah, I'll coach them even though I don't want to. I'm not in alignment with them. They're not showing up. They're late. They're full of excuses. They're not doing the work. So really getting to the place in which it doesn't matter. You don't care about the money. You're in integrity with what it is that your boundaries are. And those are going to change. You're going to change person to person, but getting really clear as to who you work with and why, and maintaining those boundaries. That was one of the most challenging parts for me. And also always refreshing your policies and procedures. So, what does it look like? What does this contract look like? What's cancellation look like? What are these things look like? Those are going to change as you change.
I love it. What does self-mastery mean to you?
Just moment to moment, moment to moment. Keeping your word to yourself is really what it means to me.
If we had someone jumping on in the last minute and they missed everything else that we said, what do you want them to remember?
I want you to rewind and listen and listen to the whole thing. But remember, I mean, what I always want people to remember is you matter and that you are important and you're a one of a kind wonder, and there never has been and never will be another you in the history of the entire universe. And that's a big deal. Like, really sit with that. In the history of the entire universe, billions, trillions, however many years plus, there will never be another you. Wow.
What a
Wow.
powerful way. What a powerful way to get to the
Yeah.
climax of this interview.
Yeah.
Lainey, I want you to kind of tell us if I was going, this lady is brilliant. I want to dive in. I want to connect with her. I want to learn from her. I want it all. Like, I want her to hold my hand. What is the easiest way to get access to you, to your work, to take step one, and all of the amazing things?
The easiest way is to go to my website, Lainne, I'm lucky, Lainne, LAINNE.com, and you can book a free call as long as there's free calls available, where we can have a chat and see if we're a good fit to work with each other. As you choose me and I choose you, we both choose each other. And you can also find me on social media at Lainne Love. And you can find my books on Amazon, How to Use Hypnosis to Master Your Brain and A Bigger Mission, on Amazon, wherever you are in the world. It's everywhere. They are everywhere.
I love it. We will be putting all of the links that she's talked about in the show notes. So wherever you're watching this, just scroll in the show notes, and you should find every possible way to connect with her and to get into her work. I believe this is amazing work, and I believe that she's really poured into us. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Thank you for rewarding us with your most precious time. There's a million podcasts in this world, and you chose to listen to this one today. So I honor you and I celebrate you for wanting to better yourself and listening to resources like this. There's always a way to stop being a passenger in your own life and become the main actor. And it's all in your hands. It's all up to you. Whether you get up and pick it up is another question. But it is my sincere hope that this helped you, lifted you up in one way or the other, and gave you the courage to step up and take charge of your life. I appreciate you today, and I hope you'll have an amazing rest of your day.